What up? What up? Good morning, people.
This is the Vagiola Broadcast Show. Timpin Salone.
Timpin Salone. How you doing today, brother Jabisky?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Q?
Can't complain. Can't complain at all. But I got a question for you though.
All right, go
Do
ahead.
you think that if you pay tickets to go to a game or a show or anything like that, do you think you should be refunded if a star player doesn't play?
Yeah, I think you definitely should, especially if it's a away game, because that's probably your only opportunity to see that player. I would say also like with the home, you probably get more opportunities to see that person. But I would say overall, especially if it's like a highly anticipated game, I think you should get the opportunity, especially if there's no other stars that are playing in that game. But what do you think?
I mean, who don't love a day off of work? You know. Uh, I think it depends. I think with sports, it's always hard to just quantify who's injured, who's not, who has a reason, who doesn't. But I think that I think as an athlete, it's your best job to put the best product on the floor, for the fans and the people that's watching. I'll say that. You agree with that?
Yeah, and I would say there's a difference between like if it's load management versus if they're actually hurt, because that's kind of out their control. Like for load management, you can argue that they might be doing it for the best interest of like the long or the team. So like if you want to see your team succeed, the load management might be helping them in the long run. So it's kind of like a slippery slope to whether if you want your team to succeed on the long run or if you want to have that ultimate fan experience of like being involved in the game.
You think that the owner should put like load management caps like per roster in the next collective bargaining agreement?
Um, I say you can cap it. I think it's more like understandable. Like, if it's, for example, towards the end of the season, like you've already secured your playoff spot. You don't want anybody to get hurt. So I can see like that towards the end, or like if they're just coming back off an injury, just load managing, like just taking their time back in. But it was like a random, like in the middle of the season, like they're already fine. Then and it's like an away game. I would say if you want to load manage, you should only do it for home games because I guess at least people around there they would probably have more likely of a chance to see you versus whether you're at an away game you only see them maybe like once or twice a year. So I think if you do load manage, you gotta have a strategy around it. But I'm pretty sure they already do that.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. The only thing about, with load management is just the fact that, you always want to protect the health of the players. You always want to make sure that, the players are the product and the product is, operating at optimal efficiency, you know. But I think at the next collective bargaining agreement, especially with the way the game is going now, I definitely think that the owners are, uh, they're definitely going to have a caveat out for the players, especially now because you got to think if you're an owner and you're paying a guy, millions and millions of dollars and they're not, on the floor, I think that's just gonna, that's gonna affect your bottom line. I don't know what you think, bro.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna affect the bottom line. I think the owners they want to have their players out there as much as possible. They want to have that ultimate experience. They want to have just their full roster ready. So I think if the players abuse it too much, they're definitely going to be checking that the next collective bargaining agreement. But I think you just gotta be careful. Just like I was saying before, you just gotta have a strategy of when you do the load managing, and if it's a legitimate like excuse to do the load managing.
I know it's gonna be a Lowe's management on March 10th though.
I don't know. I guess for those I guess who don't know what he was referring to, this the whole Ben Simmons situation where he was recently traded to the Brooklyn Nets in the first game that would be at Philadelphia. That's that March 10th game. So I guess Q, I'll ask you: do you think Ben Simmons will do a load manage? Do you think he'll be ready to play then, or what do you think?
I try not to talk about people's personal situations specifically, but I just hope that everybody who is active on the roster is ready to play. I'll say that. What you think?
Yeah, it'll be a great game to see. Definitely a new rivalry between them. So I think he should play. I think he said that in his press conference he wants to play. Uh, but yeah, it'll be an awesome game. I figure you might as well get that game over with now versus your first time being there in the playoffs, like a high atmosphere. So I say it's best for him if he's available to play, just play.
You think the fans should be accountable for the words that they say to the players?
Like in terms of like the specific, like if it's like bullying or if it's more like they're just mad about like a situation.
Well, on March 10th, I don't know if it's going to be a positive atmosphere. I don't think it's going to be some nice words being said. What you think?
Yeah, I would say as long as it's in bounds, like nothing out, no foul out of bounds comments. You can be like booing him. You can like say you suck, but like nothing like family related, nothing outside like the lines of basketball. That's all. That's all respectful, like all within the competition too. As long as it's within the game, because it's a competitive sport. So as long as it's within the game, that's cool. But like nothing outside the realms. But you already know there's probably going to be something like that, especially with the Philadelphia fans. They care a lot about their team, like the way how the whole situation happened. They're definitely going to have some emotions when they first see Ben Simmons back in Philadelphia.
Well, guess we'll see.